And hello, everybody, and welcome to another podcast by none other than NikoTheLegend, also known as Nicholas Sorokin, and the time is 12:48 a.m. 3/3/2017 is the date. Yes, today's the day that technically Breath of the Wild comes out. Who would have thought, right? It comes out today, and people are probably playing it right now on the Wii U download store and the Switch if they got it already. Especially you big YouTubers and everything. You know, all those great gaming companies online that do all those writing articles like IGN, GameSpot, and Nintendo, or, those guys are getting to play it right now. But me, I'm getting mine in the mail by Amazon. Yeah, sorry, I'm not going to be able to play it. So what I'm doing instead is just making a hype podcast all about this game and why I'm excited for it to come out. Now, I don't even remember if I strictly talked about Breath of the Wild. I know I did a comment section, and then I did like Zelda Greatness Part 1 and 2. But I don't think I just made a specific podcast talking about my reason why I'm excited for Breath of the Wild. Maybe like bits and pieces, here and there, but nothing like completely focused on it. So why not? I want to do one last podcast before I start playing it on Scrub Pub channel, my other channel, with my friend Deal and Alhan. That's our code names, We really have actual names. Who would have thought? But after this podcast, after one last Zelda podcast, I'm going to be starting to do Mass Effect podcasts because I'm getting hyped up for Mass Effect Andromeda. So it's going to be pretty exciting. We're just going to talk about all the different cool things about Mass Effect and why I will definitely appreciate how amazing it is. But another topic for another time. So let's get into the hype of Breath of the Wild. Well, as you all know, Breath of the Wild is coming out for the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch. No other Nintendo consoles. And it's coming out on the Wii U and the Switch. Why is that? Well, it's on the Wii U because it's supposed to be a farewell for the console that did so poorly in sales and just marketing and everything combined. Yeah, who would have thunk, right? Yeah, it was really bad. But I find the Wii U is a guilty pleasure because it actually has some pretty good games to it. First-party games, mainly. Third-party games, they're not that great. Maybe there's like a couple, like maybe Wonderful 101 or something. I think that's the third-party game. I don't even know. But there are other third-party games like Mass Effect 3, Mass Effect, and Assassin's Creed, and I think there was a Call of Duty. I don't know. But they had a lot of games that came out like a couple of years before or just were really bad ports. And it just didn't make any sense. It's like the developers, third-party developers, didn't really give too much care in the world about that. So yeah, so this Zelda game is definitely a good payoff to the Wii U era. And it's kind of sad, because usually when two consoles, another next-gen console comes out, they usually still make games or ported versions of games on both consoles from the previous generation and then this new current generation, but they're not going to be doing that. Breath of the Wild is literally the last game, but it's a good send-off. I mean, you take the financial hit, take a hit to give a hit. They're taking the Wii U as a loss, as a pretty disappointing failure in financial and intelligence. I don't know what they were thinking. And then the Switch is supposed to be their recovery and the give a hit, the 1-2. So Breath of the Wild is coming out on release day right now, or it did already. It's coming out for the Switch, as I said. And a lot of people it was like the biggest pre-order game for the Switch, obviously. It was sold out right away for pre-orders on GameStop.com. I'm pretty sure a lot of places everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if it was sold out on Amazon already. And if you're trying to pick up strategy guides for it, you better do it now, because I got the collector's edition like as soon as it went on sale. And then after I bought it, and I was like, sweet, I feel cool, right? Because those are going to be guides, especially if they're made by Piggyback, which are legit in-depth guide makers. They're few in numbers on how all the different guides they have compared to Prima and Brady games. But Piggyback, they take their time. They give you some in-depth stuff. So you better hurry up and pick up a strategy guide, because you got the standard, collectors, and the newly deluxe, like a third version of a strategy guide. They don't do that with strategy guides, but if you see the deluxe compared to the other ones, it's a freaking, what's the word? Oh, a tome. A freaking tome of a thing, of a book. I used to say tomb. Freaking tome. It's literally a big freaking like library dictionary book. It's huge. but it looks really cool. If you don't buy it in time, it's like $80. But if you do buy it on time on sale on Amazon, it's like 50. And there's no way I'm paying for either price. I already have my strategy guide that I got for $25 for a collector's edition, which usually can go to like 30 to 40 bucks. So I got lucky. They usually make it pretty cheap for Zelda game guides on Amazon, like standard and collectors. So I did that with Twilight Princess HD, which is a dope looking book. One thing I'm kind of sad about is that they didn't go with this like classic book look with the collector's edition guide. They didn't do that this time around compared to all the other Zelda games. It actually looked like, you know, library books or like actual novels. It was really cool. It had like a very, very simple artwork, very simple design, but it just looked cool, you know, simplicity. But yeah, that adds to the hype, right? All these different things coming out for it, you know. The Switch is going to have different ways of playing the game. It's going to have, you know, the Pro Controller, the Joy-Con controller, and holding it, and that's cool. And then I'm pretty sure the Wii U is going to have the Pro, the Nunchuck, obviously with the Wii Motion Plus, and obviously the gamepad. I actually don't mind using the gamepad for a game like that because, I don't know, it's just cool looking. But what I did with Twilight Princess HD is that I used the Pro Controller, and then I had the gamepad as the map, which is really cool. I mean, I like the Wii U gamepad was good. I thought it was a good thing they had. They just did a really bad job marketing it, and despite how big it was fine. But now they're just getting smaller. But Zelda's Breath of the Wild adventure is getting bigger, massive. Ah, man, the hype about this game. When I first saw this game, let me tell you how I felt. I was like, there was a funny meme that IGN posted on their site posted on Twitter, that it was an office scene when Steve Carell's character was like, "Oh my God, everybody out!" or something, like they were like all excited or just like amazed and appalled. It was a really funny scene. So it was kind of like the reaction of when they first saw the reveal trailer for what is it, Breath of the Wild. And everybody was just like, what's going on? What art style are they using? How is this game going to be played? Like, what's this big world that looks kind of like congested with wilderness and nature instead of just like the towns and all that, you know? Like it showed mostly of the wild, Breath of the Wild people, and we didn't know what the title was yet for the game. So that was like, that was a while ago. That was like their teaser trailer where it was like only like 30 seconds long. But then they actually released an actual trailer which showed a lot more of what Link was doing, what he's actually going to look like, and kind of gave you a taste of what the game was all about. And what I was seeing was pretty freaking amazing. Like if you put Link in his standard adventure on third person, right, and third person mechanics like slash, shooting arrows and stuff. So it's still got those concepts, but it's got crafting, hunting, hunter and gathering type stuff, and you get to decorate some stuff. You get to do some taking care of your horse and all that, and get some new equipment for you. And your weapons actually break, like your items break in this game. And that was usually a thing in Ocarina of Time with with the Giant's Knife, and the Razor Sword and Majora's Mask. But other than that, that was basically it. Yeah, nothing really broke. Besides maybe Deku sticks, if you're counting with the logic or with the actual facts. If you people out there that's really going after those details. But yeah, seriously, it was crazy. It's like weapons have durability. It's like there's like such a huge like survival aspect to it, and we were. I saw a little bit of that in some other gameplay trailers and stuff. You know, I didn't go too far into everything, you know, because I kind of wanted to be surprised, but I only saw like 2 trailers and then like 1 gameplay video, and then if you count that teaser before that. But that was enough to get me excited. Like, I was really freaking stoked for this game. Now, as a diehard Zelda fan, I'm not like compared to like JonTron or PewDiePie diehard, but I played all the Zelda games. I've beaten almost all of them. Actually, I've beaten all of them. Besides like the DS Zelda games like Minish Cap, Spirit Tracks. I just didn't really care about those. But every other Zelda game I've basically beaten. Yeah. That's a pretty big accomplishment, right? I mean, they're pretty big games full of in-depth stuff, great characters, story, and all that. Well, you can argue with that, right? So, what I'm trying to get at is that when people first saw this trailer of showing a more in-depth, more, vast world, open world type approach, people were amazed or shocked and awe, and some people were like confused and like were wondering why they were doing this. So there was like a side that really liked it. I'm pretty sure it's more people that do like it, how this approach is going to be in this game, and then there's like that small percentage of people that don't like it. But their reasoning for the people that do like it, I completely understand, because there's just so much freedom in the game. It's like the first really, really non-linear Zelda game in a long time. The most non-linear game before that was the very first Zelda game, and that's what that's what Shigeru Miyamoto and then Eiji Aonuma were trying to go for. They were trying to bring that back, know your roots, right? They were trying to go for that old retro aspect. And the first Zelda was just like the same thing. Link just starts in the middle of an area and he just goes along his way after he gets a sword from an old man, sorry. And then he just starts adventuring. I mean, obviously there was dungeons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, but you could have done them in any way that you wanted. For the most part, it didn't. The game definitely didn't hold your hand. Let's just say that. And this game is definitely not doing that as well. Now, granted that this game has voice acting and stuff, and kind of giving you more of a narrative compared to the first one. The first one was just kind of like like a Dark Souls aspect. You kind of get a taste of what the story is like, but everything else is like you make the story. That's how Zelda 1 was. But they were going with that freedom to go anywhere without having anybody being like, hey, this is where you need to go. I'm going to put this on the map. Fucking deal with it. Because they started doing that since A Link to a Past, and they're on. And people always thought Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword were like really bad with being too linear. I'm like, give me a break. Link to the Past was pretty linear too. Anyway, we won't get into that. But people were complaining. We're going on the side now why people were complaining about it. They didn't like the survival aspect to it. They thought it was too much like Skyrim. Like, oh, why is Link crafting stuff? Why is he hunting? Why are things breaking? And I'm like, why is that such a big deal? I'm like, here's the thing. There's two sides to this argument, or two critiques one critique from each side of this reason why they don't like it. One side is saying every Zelda game's the same, so why should I care about this one? And then one's just like, I don't like it because of how different it is. It's like one thinks it's the same, that's one party, and one thinks it's different. That is like one half of the that's like a half of the circle of the people that don't like it. And then the other half are people that are just like, yeah, I can't wait for this game. It's great. Yeah, I'm one of those people. And I try to reason, with people, as I'm reading comments, and you just look at comments and what people are saying, and you read all these statuses with people you're friends with on like Facebook or Twitter and why they're complaining about it, and then you try to reason with them like, this is like a new approach. Zelda's trying something new. I mean, they've always been pretty gutsy on Zelda games, right? It's like you complain about it being the same, but then when it tries to be something different, it's like, oh no, right? It's like you're afraid of change. Like only intelligent people can handle change. Trust me, it's the truth. And like, I trust Nintendo. I trust Shigeru Miyamoto and Eiji Aonuma. They know what they're freaking doing. They don't just sit there and be like, how can we fuck up Zelda, right? They don't just scrap ideas, or not scrap. They don't just cut things out, or no, we're doing this if we don't care about the fans. Like, they're just doing different things. They're reinventing the wheel. That's what you should do. Know your roots. How do you get people to come back to really love Zelda? Because they've been doing HD versions of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. The only new Zelda before this was Skyward Sword, and people didn't like that. They didn't like how it was similar. Like, it was a very similar game to Wind Waker in terms of, in Wind Waker, you're sailing on a boat over the ocean. And Skyward Sword, you're flying in the air, looking for things in, like, floating islands. It's the same thing. It was just different playing field. And then people didn't like Twilight Princess because it was too easy to find where you were going. I'm like, every fucking Link to a Past had it. You know, it had like showing independence on the map. That's basically the same thing, but no one fucking bats an eye when you say something like, no one bats an eye. Everybody goes batshit crazy when everything, everybody compares it to like Link to the Past. I'm like, come on, people, be real for a second. Think about what you're saying and what you're doing, and like kind of rationalize on what these developers are doing. Because I did it. I was just thought it was cool that Link can climb anywhere, traverse anything, and do whatever the fuck he wants. You make your own adventure. Metal Gear Solid 5 was kind of like that. It was more of a game to where you make your own story. It had a plot, although it was scattered. You find cassette tapes, and then you do some missions, and it had cutscenes in it. Same fucking scenario though. Metal Gears and experimental contraptions. It's always the same in Metal Gear Solid with that type. It's like people don't really change the formula of their story. It's just the way it's executed. It's the same. It's probably gonna be the same thing with Breath of the Wild. It's got Link, Zelda, and it's probably gonna have Ganon in it somehow. And it's got Hyrule. Spoilers. So what's the problem? If it's a little more realistic in that aspect, it's still a freaking Zelda game. He's still doing the hack and slash bit. He still looks badass, getting all this different equipment. And for the first time ever, he's wearing a blue tunic, by the way. He's not wearing green. Has anybody noticed that this is like the only game where he's not wearing green starting off? Surprise. So it's cool. It's like let's freaking flip the script on this. Let's do this. And it's a sure damn way to market such an idea to the audience and to the people that are spectating what you're trying to show. To bundle it with a Switch console for a release day, the game's gonna sell millions. Like, it's gonna sell so fast and so many copies. Even for the Wii U and the Switch. But if you took the Wii U out, the Switch was still, they sold out on GameStop, not GameSpot, sorry. And the Wii U is probably going to sell out eventually too. The pre-orders for the Switch are going to be sold out. They probably already are, because of, let alone the Zelda game. They're not going to get that. They're not getting the Switch for that party game. Come on, give me a break. We all know why we're getting the Switch, because there's a big launch title, thank God, which is a Zelda game. That's how it should be every Zelda game, or every Nintendo launch. It should be a big Mario game at release or a big Zelda game. Which gets me even more excited, because I get to be a part of the crowd. People tell you it's like, oh, do your own thing, follow your own path. Well, this is my group of people. This is my crowd. These are my peers, my colleagues in the gaming world, Zelda fans. There's some big Zelda fans out there. Zelda has touched our hearts very deeply with like everything it represents. A courageous hero, save the world, damsel in distress. Doesn't get a kiss from a princess, but who gives a fuck, right? He still saves the day, defeats an evil lord. And like, we've heard that plot so many times in so many different variations, you name it. Books, movies, comic books, video games, and just even, I don't even know, music. I'm pretty sure it has, we've heard it all. But Zelda just does that for us. It's just the perfect mix of that. And I just, look, you don't like a Zelda that's too realistic, don't buy it, right? You can share your opinion. That's fine. That's fine. Freedom of speech. Obviously, you're entitled to your opinion, just like everybody, right? It's just the way you do it. It's like when you're complaining about something, have a solution. It's like, what would you have done different? What game do you want it to be? Do you not want it to be its own freaking game, a step away from the crowd of Zelda games that are already the same, quote? Or you want to be its own standalone title, and then you can actually be like, this is the most diverse, different Zelda game I've ever played, and you're gonna remember it. You're gonna remember those moments and stuff where this is the first of its, well, you can say the first of this generation, but the second technically, because the first Zelda game, like I said, already did this. And people are just not understanding that concept, which... It's like, what Zelda game do you want it to be like? Wind Waker? Link to a Past? We already have games like that. You can say... what is it? You can say freaking Ocarina of Time is like Link to a Past. There's 8 dungeons, there's this and that, the Master Sword. You're collecting 3 spiritual stones, and then a Link to a Past, you collect 3 talismans, and then you save the sages, which you freaking do in Link to a Past and Ocarina of Time. So it's pretty freaking similar, freaking frackin'. So I just, those are people you just let them do their thing. I mean, I even saw a thing on Twitter when I brought up before when I'm talking about it's the same. I don't know why I'm just not excited enough for the same game. It's not the same game. It's not. Because it's like, well, what about the people that are saying it's different? It's like like I said, there's 2 sides of the people that don't like it. Different, the same. Make up your damn mind, people. Look, when I was talking about Final Fantasy 15 in my other podcast and everything, that was a different game, and I didn't like it when I first saw it because it was like a huge step away from what Final Fantasy was actually represents for the most part in terms of like how it looked, like style and with the gameplay wise. But that was nowhere as big of a step than what Breath of the Wild is. The only added thing to Breath of the Wild is just open world and more survival aspects to it, like more realism. Like, is that bad? I mean, I can understand you're in a fantasy world and you want to be in a fantasy world and play like one. But what the fuck was Skyrim then? Did people hate Skyrim because it had survival mechanics to it? Like, I don't get it. Like, what's wrong with survival mechanics in a Zelda game? Like, is it really that excruciating? Is it really painful to see your favorite franchise? I'm like, bullshit is your favorite franchise. You know that's a load of crap. Because if it was your favorite franchise, you would stick to it till the end, not from the beginning. Oh, what happened now? Truth bomb. You would understand. You would use some empathy and put yourselves in the developer's shoes. It's not going to be like a Star Fox Zero where they completely fucked it up with the camera controls and everything. That was the only thing that was terrible about it. But the missions and stuff were really fun and cool. Graphics were really good. I'm sad I didn't get to play it because everyone bitched about the camera thing. So, I'm super pumped. I'm super ready for this. I can't wait to get it tomorrow and record it. And we should all be excited. I mean, this is like a good beginning of the end. I said the beginning because Switch and Breath of the Wild on the Switch, and then the end of the Wii U. It's a good transition. I like that. I'm glad Nintendo did that. Like that's what gets even more stoked about playing the game because they actually give a crap about people who. I wouldn't say we were dumb enough to buy the Wii U because they're diehard Nintendo fans. They only get Nintendo consoles. That's it, and that's what they're stuck with. You know, just like people getting straight up PCs. You know, that are only PC Master Race or Xbox or PlayStation. It doesn't matter. You want a company that shows empathy, and they put themselves in your shoes, or they're just trying to make a more money for their pocketbook. Well, whatever. They still did it though. Whatever their intentions, as long as they did it, the act is done. We're gonna get something for people who have the Wii U and have the Switch. That's great. That's great. And that just makes me care about the game so much more. And I've been waiting for a new Zelda game for a long time. And this is gonna be good. It's gonna be good. And just the funny thing is that one thing that bothers me about the Switch version, which makes me excited to have the Wii U even more, is because the Switch version, IGN released a graphics comparison video, and don't get me wrong, anything could be tampered with editing, right? You can change it however way you want it. There's the amount of technology there is crazy today. But it didn't look anything different. The frames are still 30 frames per second on both consoles. The color palette, the graphics, the textures, tessellation. Well, I don't think there is any tessellation, but you know what I'm talking about. It was exactly the same. I couldn't believe my mind. I'm like, people, why don't you just buy it for the Wii U? Right? So I was like, yay, it's not completely, not a complete port. I think it's the same, it's just the same game, just with different control scheme. So, yeah, save me about $300 or $350, $350 fucking dollars for a game and a console, which I can just play on my Wii U. How great is that? Don't call me a cheapskate, because I'm not. Because, yeah, I'm definitely not. I spent like over $1,000 on my PC, so yeah, knock it off. So there's just so many things to add to the hype, right? Like, I'm excited to see what dungeons you go through, what characters, like the diet, like, you know, there's voice acting, like what characters are going to sound like, just getting used to it. There's like so many new features that, you know, that they're going to be introducing for the first time, or bringing back from the way past, you know. And the game's going to have like different aspects from all the Zelda games that people love. And like, I know the villain's going to be great. Like, I always loved the boss fights in Zelda. Like, that was the thing. Like, there were some dungeons I just couldn't stand in Zelda. Not because they were bad, it's just because they were just either really dreary, or they set like a negative tone in your body, like a negative imprint on you, because they're dungeons, right? They shouldn't be all jolly-olly. They should be dangerous and full of people that want to kill you, right? So, like Ocarina of Time, like, my favorite dungeons are the Spirit Temple and the Fire Temple. The Shadow Temple is pretty dope. The bosses, I mean, all the bosses in Zelda games are great. So yeah, I'm just excited to see what have already been established in other Zelda games being put into this game. I want to see the new and improved. And it's going to be so fun. Oh my gosh. Just all the secrets, all the Easter eggs, and just the music. Like, I wonder if they're going to do an orchestra soundtrack like they did with Skyward Sword. Which I'm okay with. It's just, there was just so many Zelda songs from before that are so memorable. Like, holy crap, Link to the Past, like, the first, like, 4 Zelda games were pretty memorable. Like, Zelda 1, 2, Link to the Past, and Ocarina of Time. I mean, Majora's Mask was pretty great, too, but, those are the games that, well, besides 2, but the other ones I mentioned, those are the games that you hear songs throughout all the Zelda games, like different variations of the song. Like Zelda's Lullaby, for one, is like in every Zelda game. The Zelda theme songs in every game, and, you know, so on and so forth. So I'm hoping to hear something like that in Breath of the Wild. And so, you know, Skyward Sword had a great orchestrated soundtrack. I just don't remember any song from that game. And that's the thing with orchestrated music. It's very hard to remember because it's not like midis or tunes, like catchy tunes and stuff. It's just a full goddamn band playing this crazy acts of songs, you know, different acts into one song. So I don't know. I really hope it's just like an actual original soundtrack like Ocarina of Time or something. It was great. It was great. Maybe have some orchestrated music, but I bet you anything it's going to be orchestrated, because that's what people do nowadays, because it's more, I guess it's more professional and more up to date, more current. I mean, Halo 5 definitely did it. Halo 4 did. I mean, Skyward Sword did it. So, yeah. But there are still plenty of games out there that still go with like their old school type of music. So we'll see. But I definitely want to see how Link is going to grow as a character in the game, and I wonder if we're going to hear, like, the cool thing is I wonder if he's going to say something in the end, like a cool like one-liner or something. Like, they do that sometimes, you know, the person decides to talk or say something, but depending on how the narratives, they might just have him say like yes or no already. So it's like, well, they've already established he doesn't talk, so whatever. So my biggest thing that I'm really excited for is like getting the items. What items are we going to see? Like, what swords? Like getting the Master Sword. Like, how cool that is that? going to be when we get it? Are we going to be able to upgrade that and make it look even more badass or something? You know what I'm saying? What shields, armor, and what type of weapons that we find in dungeons that we can use to better our exploration and experience in the game. That was the thing in Zelda Dungeons, is that you get the item to beat the boss. But some Zelda games, they give you an item and it's not even used for the boss. You use a different item, so you better hope you freaking have it, or else you probably can't beat it, or else it's really hard. So sometimes they've done that before. So they've done all kinds of shit. You know, they've experimented. Nintendo's like basically the scientists of gaming. They experiment so much, and they hope to find one little fucking cure for their obsession on going out there and just trying new things all the time, and hoping that the lottery is in their favor. They win the lottery. But yeah, guys, I mean, this is just kind of just like a brief summary of why I'm stoked for this game, especially especially because I'm recording with my other YouTube channel. I can't wait. I'm still deciding if I want to do my own playthrough of it and post it on my channel, but I don't know. We'll see. Because Mass Effect Andromeda is coming. I just beat Resident Evil 7 last night, or 2 nights ago if we're being technical, and then I still got to beat Final Fantasy 6 on the stream, and I'm already trying to beat a Zelda game, and so I still have my plate full. I gotta beat Final Fantasy 6 before Andromeda comes out. That's for damn sure, which I will. So, guys, the hype is real. Better freaking believe it. Just check out my other Zelda videos I've done. They're all kind of hype related or hype related to to the release of Zelda. Obviously, I'm doing it in honor of Zelda as a franchise and as Breath of the Wild coming out. It's good to rekindle those retrospect views on video games that you played. It's good, and then use some new stuff. Yeah, check out the Zelda Greatness Part 1 and 2. Part 2 has Dayton Does Gaming with it. Great guy. We talked a lot about Zelda. It was fun. And then I did on the Nintendo's comments section on the Breath of the Wild presentation trailer 2017. And I read a bunch of comments and explained what people's philosophy, or what the philosophy was of why they thought that, and kind of went in my own opinion on their comments and stuff on why I thought they said this. So it was pretty fun. It was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun to do, so I thank you for listening. This has been NikoTheLegend, also known as Nicholas Sorokin. The time is 1:21 a.m. and the date is 3/3/2017. Guys, enjoy Breath of the Wild. Try to hold back from the spoilers. I completely understand if it's hard to show people how much love and appreciation you're giving to the game, but don't overdo it. Don't overkill it. Don't be like a Game of Thrones spoiler and just fuck the whole series up for other people, because that's what happened to me. Anyway, have a great night, people.